What's up guys, Dennis here. So from time to time I like to do these update videos, and I think this is a really good time because I haven't really been putting videos out. Kind of been taking a break and kind of wanted to explain what I've been up to and where this channel is going. And let me start out by saying that title was not clickbait. I did lose partial vision in my left eye, and if you'll bear with me, I want to tell that story a little bit later towards the end. Alright, just some updates to what I've been up to. So, haven't been working on any projects, haven't been filming videos. Did have some health issues to deal with a little bit this year. You know, I'm fine. I want to just say that, like, I'll be good. You know, there's no issues there or anything, so don't worry about that. And it was this summer, and I have a family, and so of course we've been busy. The main thing though is that I've been running, like a lot. I get up every morning and run anywhere between 2 and 10 miles. So I've been averaging between 25 and 30 miles a week. And I've just really been trying to focus on my health and trying to get fit again. I used to be thin and athletic, and then I had kids and I got fat and dad-like. Unfortunately, the time that I run is I get up in first thing and I do some foam roller, and then I get out on the road, and usually I do, my normal route's about a 6.5 mile run, and it takes me a little less than an hour, like 58 minutes. Even on the days of my short run, it's just such a disruption that's really all I can do. So that's all I've been focusing on, really, is just running a lot. So that was most of the reason, just time, that I haven't been able to put videos out. But there's been another reason, and it's this kind of fear of putting out the wrong thing. Let me back up a little bit. So I've had some kind of more major projects that I filmed on this channel. Kind of started out with my bandsaw sawmill that I made from scratch, and had a bunch of videos on that. I'm still working on it, but it's gonna be slow going. And then I did some videos fixing my truck, which was totally unexpected, but it kind of made my channel kind of take off, and I saw a lot more views because of one particular video, and so I got a lot more traffic to my channel. And I've always been wanting to get into casting, so kind of on and off I've been working on the foundry, and finally got out there and melted some metal, and it's something I want to get back and do, but it's a very involved process, and I'd really have to carve out longer blocks of time to be able to do that. Meanwhile, it's not like I haven't been doing nothing. I have tons of small projects I'm doing all the time, and not filming them because filming kind of takes a while, and I've kind of elevated my videos to a level of production that I'm pretty happy with, and I am really proud of the last several videos that I've put out. I feel like I'm really putting out the kind of videos that I'd really like to, but I also feel like I'm not putting out the videos that I'd also like to. I'd like to kind of film some of these smaller projects. My fear has been that they are not going to fit the narrative of the channel, that I should only film my larger projects because there'll be kind of like a continuity of like, wait a minute, I thought you were working on this, and all of a sudden now you're building this, you're tinkering with this little thing. Like, I'm not interested in that. So either the viewers, I don't want to put something that my subscribers don't want to see, and I kind of have this assumption in my head that, like, you guys have subscribed because of one particular project, and I think that is true to some degree. I definitely have subscribers who are only here to see updates about my sawmill. I have some that are here only expecting more truck videos, like more auto repair, and well, let me break it to you right now. There's probably not going to be too many of those in the near future, so sorry. And I have people here from the casting community, which is actually one of the most awesome communities on YouTube that I've found. Like, super friendly, super helpful, collaboration, like, yeah, you guys are awesome. Oh yeah, so I hit 5,000 subscribers. I wanted to make that announcement too. It's a funny thing because I'm not like super excited about it because I saw it coming. It's very regular, like the subscriber count goes up very steadily, and so it's not a surprise at all. You know exactly when you're going to hit 5,000 subscribers. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's a good milestone, I suppose. YouTube is funny because the subscribers don't really matter to YouTube's success. They matter to the content creators as a sense of community, and you guys keep me going, and I really like your comments, and I love it when I see the same names coming back in the comments and getting to know people, and that's been an unexpected, like, really awesome part about making videos for YouTube. But in terms of YouTube's success, it doesn't matter as much. It's just pure views, and most people have the majority of their views coming from suggested videos, random clicks, basically just getting caught up in the YouTube algorithm and having YouTube serve up those videos to thousands, millions of people, and having a percentage of them click on the video and watch some of it, and usually not even more than like a quarter of it, like averaging maybe 40% of the video. But that's like the success part of YouTube. That's where you make money, that's where you get huge view counts, and I'll be honest, a major driving factor of me making videos and putting them out on this channel is to have a side stream of income that can help fund these projects. So it's my dream that someday I'll be able to be just filming what I want to do, and the videos are going to be paying for what I want to do. I mean, that's the dream. I will tell you, I am getting a small, a very small, semi-monthly income. I was going to make an update of like some of the stuff that I got for the shop, but it's not very exciting. I bought sandpaper. I got a bunch of sanding belts and rollers, and yeah, I outfitted all my sanding machines in the shop, and I couldn't have done that. It wasn't a fun purchase, but it was kind of a necessary thing. I couldn't have done that without the ad revenue from YouTube. So consumables, keeping the shop going, it's working. It's working. This goal of mine is, I'm getting there, but not quite there yet. I guess what I'm saying is that I'm going to make a concerted effort to put out shorter, quicker videos that I don't have to spend as much production time on, that are much more random topics that don't fit into a narrative, that aren't part of a larger ongoing project. And the reason is primarily because I want to share this information. It's something I want you to know about, or I want other people to know about. But then also, it does play to making it on YouTube, to YouTube success. So I do want to thank you guys for being subscribers, for being viewers. I really appreciate it. And I say guys in the inclusive meaning of the word, although I think well over 90% of my subscribers are men. So shout out to the ladies if you're watching. Now I'm entering rambling mode. There's a little counter in the dashboard when in YouTube next to the videos, and it tells you how many subscribers you gained or lost from a video. And I've had some negative, which is really kind of one of the most awful things to see. But I kind of expect this video to be one of those negative ones. There's only so many hours in the day, and if I'm not putting out the kind of videos that you're interested in watching, yeah, I mean, you should probably not subscribe then, because you should be subscribing to what you want to see. This is probably the only video I'm going to say, if you're not interested in these videos, unsubscribe. All right. So story time. So it's not as bad as it sounds, but I did lose some vision. So first I need to explain that for a long time I've suffered from ocular migraines, and it's kind of when the optic nerve or the optical cortex of your brain kind of goes crazy and kind of freaks out for a while. It starts out like a flash of, not like a flash of light so much as that in your vision it's as if something flashed in it, like a car went by and the headlights shined in your face, or somebody's watch moved across the sun and it reflected in your eye, and you get like a little bit of a spot after that where you're like, oh, I that's worn out, I can't see right there because I that little flash right there. But it's very tiny. It's a very tiny spot that you just kind of notice all of a sudden. It slowly just gets bigger, and then at a certain point, the fringes of this spot start to twinkle. For me, it starts out as kind of like a black and white kind of jagged lines, kind of like flashy moving boundary of this little blind spot area. That's kind of gray, but more like just kind of like you can't see right there. This is called a scintillating scotoma. So you can look this up, and so they'll grow kind of like to this like moon crescent, like, or C kind of shape, and as it gets bigger it fills more and more of your vision. And now, like, as it grows, the center part you can see it's fine. It's the edges that get like more colorful, flashing, vibrant, and like very much like a kaleidoscope. Let me tell you, the first time this happened to me, I thought I was just losing it. I thought either someone put something in my drink, or yeah, it's very bizarre. And I get these maybe like a couple times a year or so. Anyway, so eventually this thing gets so big that it just kind of like goes across your vision and then goes out of your vision, and then it's gone, because it just got so big that it's like kind of like you're walking through it, and then it just kind of like goes away. And for a lot of people, they'll get a really intense headache afterwards, like a full-on like actual migraine. So this would be like the first sign that a migraine's coming. For whatever reason, I'm really lucky that I don't get that, but I do have like a period of maybe 30-40 minutes of just kind of being disoriented and just kind of like just not fully mentally, just kind of foggy or something. And this whole ordeal for me usually lasts about 40 minutes, but then afterwards I'm a little bit just kind of like bleh. Don't know how to explain it, but it ruins my morning. Like, I can't get any work done when this happens. I needed to explain that because what happened was I started getting these more often. Like, by more often I mean like every other week or something. And then I noticed I was getting what I thought was one of them starting, and then nothing ever came of it. I was like, that's weird. Like, maybe I figured out how to stop them, by not focusing on it. So every time I would notice it, and I should have realized it was happening in the same spot, but every time I would notice this spot kind of starting to happen, I would kind of just ignore it and just be like, okay, I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that. I'm just kind of like, concentrate on something else and not think about it. And I never got the flashing lights and everything. So it wasn't until I started kind of focusing on it and I was like, wait a minute, this spot isn't going away. This spot is I can't really see. I mean, your brain does a lot to compensate for vision. The natural blind spots on your eyes, your brain accommodates for that. So it was processing with my right eye what I was missing in my left, and I wasn't really noticing it very much. And it wasn't until actually the 4th of July, where I started kind of just trying to like, okay, let me see what's going on here. I'm going to close my right eye and I'm going to try and look at different things. And holy cow, I have a blind spot. My thought was going to the emergency room at the eye clinic on the 4th of July, maybe not the best idea. So I'm there, and I'm in and out. I'm getting drops. I'm getting like eye tests. I guess I'm moving up the ladder because, you know, I first see like the receptionist and then a nurse and then somebody else, and I don't know who the eye doctor is. And so finally I get in there and there's this I guess it was the eye doctor. He's like, I see something here and I don't know what it is, and I'm gonna send you up for a scan to get a better look. So I had to go upstairs to this machine that, forget what it's called. I'll look it up. Maybe I can put it on the. It's this. So I go back down. I'm talking to the doctor, and he's like, "Well, you have what looks like scar tissue. Your retina has been damaged." And I was like, "Well, how does a retina get damaged?" And he says, "I don't know. Let me hold on." And so we brought in someone else. And they're like, yeah, hold on. And they brought in someone else. And so at least 3 specialists came in and looked at me and were just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. Can you come back in a couple weeks? So this was like a 6-hour ordeal. So by this point I was just kind of like, all right, you don't seem concerned that anything has to be done today. I'll come back in a few weeks. And when I got home, I was like, well, what the hell? I'm still partially blind in this eye. I have no idea what it is. And, you know, all the worst things were now running in my head. So that was really hard. So I went back to the eye doctor, and it was again like a very several hour long. It took up basically my whole day to go to the appointment. They sent me back to the same scan because I wanted to see how it progressed. And I'm in the room now, and I'm talking to the retina specialist now. I'm totally expecting him to say like, we're gonna have to take your eyeball. You can get a glass eye. You'll wear an eye patch. I'm thinking, you know, eye patches, that might look good on video. I'm like trying to make the best of it in my head. And so he's just like, yeah, okay. He's like, well, let me show you the scan. He goes, you had some blood in your retina. That was this spot here. And this is the scan today. It's healing up nicely. And I was like, okay, what? What happened was, it was not scar tissue. There was blood in the retina, like a pool of blood and I had to ask because it wasn't explained to me. I was like, so how does that happen? Did a blood vessel burst? Yeah. Okay. Why didn't you just tell me a blood vessel burst? But okay, so why? And was it because my kid threw a toy in my face? And like, no. And then my wife was there with me, and she's like, is it welding? He's been welding. No. He's been running a lot. I think he runs too much, and, you know, it's like, no, you can't get this from... Literally, the guy's looking at me, he's like, you're healthy, right? And I'm like, I think so. He's like, yeah. He goes, so it's not super concerning. He's like, but he said something about blood vessels and in the brain, and he's like, yeah, you don't want just blood vessels just to be popping like that. And I'm like, oh, wow, I wasn't even thinking the brain, but now you have me thinking like I'm gonna... So he's like, there's something called the Valsalva Maneuver, where if you go to lift something heavy, you go and you squeeze your core and you stop, you know, you hold your breath, and you should probably know what I'm talking about. You just go like, you know. He's like, yeah, that can do this. That, like, if you are strong, and some people can generate enough blood pressure that it just shoots up into their head and pops blood vessels. So, yeah, it wasn't until a little bit later that I started kind of piecing together the timeline here and thinking about it. And I actually mentioned in my videos that I recently built a sandbox for my kids. And there was a lot of like rolling logs and bending over with a chainsaw and and it was really hot that day and I was just really struggling. I just wanted to get it done. And so I was kind of muscling these logs around and I'm thinking the timeline fits that. I think I was bending over, picking up a log, probably like, you know, that could be when it happened. That's when the vessel burst. The good news is it's probably going to heal, and I'll probably get my vision back there. The bad news is it could take a couple years. The blood's mostly gone from that area, but there's, you know, some damage from the pressure but he said, yeah, like probably a year it's going to heal. Maybe another year before you don't have just kind of a vague gray spot there. So maybe total, like 2 years total, and it'll just be like nothing happened, but it will be kind of some time. And I'm lucky that it was a very small vessel that burst, because if it was any larger, it could have been a much more, what's the word he used, devastating injury. So yeah. Cautionary tale, guys. If you're lifting something heavy, don't hold your breath. You know those exercise videos, they say breathe on, you know, exhale when you're going up, or when you're doing your bicep curl or whatever. That's why. It's funny, now that I'm not worried about it, I don't even notice it as much. So my brain can compensate, and it's just not even as big of a deal. So, but I think that's it. So just want to thank you guys again for being subscribers, for being viewers, and always look forward to your comments. So if you have anything to say, leave it down below. I won't ask you to say anything in particular. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe, obviously, this time. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Now I got to try and edit this thing down to something manageable that someone will actually sit through and watch. So.